In this video, we are going to build an application in just a couple of minutes with only BPMN. Let's assume the following use case. You are the business analyst of a bank, and the bank has the following use case. It is possible that clients make a phone call that they want to change their banking product. So let's assume they have a portfolio right now. Let's say they're investing in stocks and only in the US, but they want to change their portfolio so they also have some European or Asian shares, whatever it might be. That's the use case, right? We want to build an application where a user of the bank can change the product and maybe also trigger a rebalancing, and also that another banking employee can check the order. And this is how the BPMN diagram could look like. You can see a pool, so the big pool here is the product change and rebalancing process. And we have three roles: the front employee who's entering the first data, then the operations team member who's checking the order if everything's all right, and then we have also the system that is doing some stuff in the background. All right, how are things getting started? In this process, just to be simple, we assume the start event here is a phone call received by the front employee or the advisor. And the very first step here in your business analysis could have been that always the front employee has to search for a customer. So actually, the user can search for customers until they have found a customer. Could look like this. This loop here means only when we find a customer, we move on. Then we do the adjustments, meaning changing the product and maybe other fields we have to fill in. After this is done, the operations employee has to check the order. And here we have an either or gateway asking for the outcome. What is the outcome of the check? We can see here there are two scenarios. One is rejected, so the employee here is rejecting this case, then the case is rejected, and maybe we send an email out or something. And the other case is approved, so everything is all right, meaning we have an update data here, and the data is updated. And this activity is done by the system. So this is going to be an automated task like this, but for now I have to model it like this as a user task, because in the engine, because I didn't have anything backed up right now, it would give me an error, but for demonstration purposes we leave like this. Before I show you the details of these activities, what I have coded and parameterized, let me show you in the UI how it looks like. When I click the button here, I'm deploying this diagram, and you can see here the activity, or here this token is in search customer. And here you can see search customer as an activity. All right, let's claim this one. I have built the following mask, so you can search by customer number or maybe first name, last name, birth date. The customer number is 66. In this step, I'm just completing this step. And then the next step is here, make adjustments. As you remember in the BPMN diagram, the next one is make adjustments. I can update here. You see the token just moved. So we go into this one. Let's claim this activity so we can do something. All right, so the current product here is product C with 100% Asian shares. And now we want to change the product. Right now, there are just two products backed up. I have hard-coded these. Of course, in a practical example, in real life, you would maybe have an API call to get all the products which are there. Let's go for this one here. We want to have a 50-50 share between Europe and US shares. And there's the question, do you want to rebalance immediately? So when we change from Asian shares to this portfolio here, of course, the securities have to be sold and rebalanced. And if unchecked, rebalancing to the new portfolio will happen next Wednesday. So we can now decide, do we want to do this change immediately or just for the next day or whenever Wednesday is? I make yes, so I want to do this immediately. I just complete that. All right, then check order. Now for demonstration purposes, I can do all the activities, but in practical examples, in real life, another user should do this now. So they have a check, for I check. Let's claim this activity. Here in the diagram, you can see where we are right now in the process. And there's the question, what is the outcome of a check? Is everything all right? So here you can decide to approve or to reject. Both is possible. Then we can see the product change for customer 66. That's the variable from before. The old product was C, Asian shares. The new product is B, 50-50. And with immediate rebalancing, yes. So based on this, we can either approve it or decline it. Let's have a look on the diagram. What happens when we reject it? Nothing. The diagram will end. But if we approve, we have to update data activity. So let's try for testing purposes to approve it and complete. Now I would assume this activity to be update data. And yes, it's the case. So when we go in this, We have nothing modeled here. That's why nothing special is happening. But you can see we're here at the end. So let me show you in this tool how I made these forms so you can see what is the difference here. So first of all, search customer. Here on the form section, you can see these fields, right? Customer number, first name, last name, birth date. These are variables I have defined. You can define if it's a date, if it's a string, whatever it might be, right? That's how it is here. And make adjustments. I have the variable new product, current product, and with rebalancing. The new product right now is just an enumeration. Like I said, for demonstration purposes, in real life, you would make an API call or something like this, or have a CSV file configured. So that's an enumeration, right? You have to select one of these. The current product right now is hard-coded Asian shares. And with rebalancing was a Boolean. That's a checkbox, yes or no. That's simply it. And you always have to remember here these variables because these I'm going to use in the next activity in check order. So here you remember, for example, the customer number here. I'm just taking the variable from the very first step. Here it's called customer number. And here it's just called dollar, then the brackets, customer number. So I use the variable from before because I want to display it. The same for the old product and for the new product and for rebalancing as well. I just reference to the old variables. That's why I've been able to see it. And then, of course, in the either or, we are checking now about the outcome. As you can see in the activity check order here in forms, there's this attribute outcome of check. An outcome of check is an enumeration, approved and rejected other values based on what I choose in the dropdown. And this is now important here. This idea has to be remembered because here on the path, if I click here, there is this expression, right? So when do I go this route? I go this route if the outcome of check, so that's the variable before, equals rejected. And if it's equals approved, I go the route down here. That's how an either or looks like in the parameterization or in the coding section of a BPMN diagram. Exactly. So this here just shows you in a couple of minutes I have been able to build a very simple application with just BPMN knowledge and maybe some know-how about parameterization, but that's about it.